Okay, this is where I lose some subs. You read the title. You know what this is about. Now, to be fair, these are my first reactions. If I misspoke on something, if I got something wrong, by all means, let me know. Respectfully, please. If you want to call me an idiot, go ahead. I'll admit, I can be an idiot. I'll fully admit to that. But just don't send me death threats or harass me, alright? Call me an idiot, call me a shithead, call me a Nazi, I guess. But, like, don't send death threats to people or anyone I'm close to. Even if you even know who those people are, which I'm sure somebody does. We're going to talk about this. Now, I generally stay away from politics because YouTube drama and political drama and whole Twitter drama, is just like, I don't want to talk about it because it's just such a toxic, tiring cesspool of blech. Sure, some people love it. Some people love just watching the drama unfold. And sure, I am like that at times. Let's be honest here, drama does get you a lot of views. But I generally don't go after drama videos because I don't want to deal with most of the bullshit, but I need to speak about this because I'm really pissed. Also, this video will probably not be the best or most well-edited video ever. It probably won't be eloquent. I'll probably stutter like a complete jackass. But I need to say this. To Joaquin... I keep saying Joaquin, because it's like I'm saying the word walking, but I'm not. It's Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix. To Mr. Phoenix. I'll call him Mr. Phoenix. I don't want to butcher his name. I apologize. That was my fault. But to Mr. Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sorry you have to deal with this bullshit. I'm sure you put your heart and soul into the performance in the new Joker movie, and I've seen you in other things. You're an amazing actor, you know. There's a reason they wanted you to be the Joker. There's a reason they hired you, because, you know, you're an awesome actor. I'm sorry that you have to deal with such incredible bullshit. And where incels, aka white men, because that's apparently what incels means now, even though that's not what it actually is supposed to mean. Future me, please put the definition up into text. Thank you. That's what incels actually means. And apparently, Joker will entice people, mainly incels, or white male, white men, incels or white men, essentially, to go on a shooting spree in the theater, similar to the Aurora Theater shooting that happened with The Dark Knight Rises. If you don't know about that, I really don't want to go into it. I will link to the Wikipedia article, or The Dark Knight Rises Wikipedia article, and you can read about it there. But just for a brief recap, when The Dark Knight Rises was first released in theaters in 2012, in Colorado at the Aurora Theater, there was a unfortunate tragedy where a man who claimed to be the Joker, he wasn't, he just used it in order to entice controversy and just for the attention, and he came in armed to the teeth and shot up the place. It was about as horrible as you think it is, possibly even more so. It was awful. Terrible thing to happen. And people who actually survived this event, who lost people in this event, are trying to speak up on the Joker film, and I know I'm going to come off as an insensitive asshole. I know that there are probably going to be some people who think I'm taking it a step too far. Look, I'm not trying to put down what anyone went through in that tragedy. I'm not trying to put down anyone. But that does not mean that I can't criticize their opinions. I get that they're fearful of what'll happen again, will happen to other people. I understand they are fearful of what happened to them might happen to other people. So, yes, they do have a right to speak out. But not only are people using their words to go after other people, but I also find it kind of insulting. Because what these people are essentially doing is, now I'm not saying the people who survived the tragedy want this, but there are definitely some websites, Telegraph, who actually interviewed Joaquin, and he flat out walked out on them in the interview because of the first question they asked, which was, let me actually look it up here. I'm gonna look it up right now. Whether the Joker movie will make people or encourage people to become violent. This was the question. His response was, what? No, why would you? Which, is the natural response. It's what anyone would give. His response was completely normal. But now article websites and news outlets are smearing his name just because of his answer, which was a genuine, honest answer that I think any normal, sane person would fucking have. But of course, we're going to smear his name because he played a character that might encourage people to commit murders, even though it's just a fucking movie about a fucking superhero villain, or not a superhero, no, it's not even a superhero, a super villain that is based on a superhero comic. That's what I should say. It's a super villain based on, he is based... Have you ever heard of the difference between reality and fiction? Reality versus fiction, they are not the same thing. Comic books are not real. The Joker is not real. And, but the film's taking a gritty and realistic tone. Okay. It's still not real. No one died, at least no one, I assume, no one died during the production. I think we would have heard about that, and even if they did die, it probably wasn't because they were murdered, it was probably because of an accident. It's just like, are you fucking serious? And you want to know what's even worse? Now, I'm not aiming this next comment towards the people who were a part of the Colorado Aurora Theater shooting. Those people are separate. I have issues with what they said, but at the same time, I can understand their concerns, if only because they did go through something horrible. But to the websites, the news outlets, like, the one who interviewed Joaquin, the ones who talk about how, incels and white people, like white males, are going to be encouraged by the Joker to stand up and rise up against the oppressive government, and try and shoot black people and women and terrible. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, alright? Shut up. It is a goddamn movie, and if anything, you doing this, you saying this shit, is going to encourage it to fucking happen. In fact, I bet that's what you want, partially. Because it'll fit your little stupid agenda that you fucking have. Alright? I hate to break it to you, but you want to know how you fix racism? Simply put, very simple, don't be fucking racist. How about we teach that instead of saying, you see, because these groups of people had to suffer, now we should make the other side suffer, because that'll solve everything. That totally won't lead to another fucking race war. What? That's just stupid. You're all fucking idiots. Either that or you're being stupid in what you say, and you're just doing it for clicks. But if anything, this will actually entice insane people to actually go out and cause a mass shooting because of this shit. Because you encouraged it. You wanted this for your own little agenda. But hey, you won't feel bad because you'll get to make another article on why it happens, and therefore you get to make money off of other people's suffering. You fucking assholes. That is all this is, isn't it? You sick, disgusting pieces of shit. Gonna get a bit nicer here. To the people who survived the Colorado Aurora Theater shooting. Those comments are not directed towards you. Those comments, none of them, are directed towards you. But I will say this about you. I understand why you're concerned, but you have to remember that the reason why this shit happens is not because of the movie. It's not because of what entices them to do something. It's also because of another reason. These people don't get the mental health they need. The reason people go out and shoot people, the reason they make a conscious decision to kill people is because they're insane. They need help. Okay, so there's one thing I want to make clear. It's something I couldn't make out like 5 minutes before because I was just so angry and just yelling into the microphone. I'm not sure how that'll actually come out, so we'll see how that turns out. But to the people who survived the Aurora Theater shooting, why not, instead of going after the Joker movie, or I shouldn't say going after, they probably are legitimately concerned, and they're not, like, doing this to be malicious. I hope they're not. If they are, that's different, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say you're doing this because you are legitimately concerned. And I understand you're concerned. You know, I understand why you're concerned. You know, you went through something horrible when you just wanted to watch a fucking Batman movie. I don't want to... I know I make it come off as I'm saying, shut up, you shouldn't say anything. But no, that's not what I'm trying to say. Even though it definitely sounds like I am saying that. What I am saying is, how about instead, why not maybe... I understand what you're trying to do, but the way you're trying to paint it, the way you said it, is very problematic. You make it seem like the problem is the Joker. That the Joker inspires people. That the Joker is some sort of superhero. Warner Brothers actually came out and said that that's not the intention of the filmmakers, the actor, or anyone in Warner Brothers. They're not there to promote violence, or to promote shootings, or to promote mass murderers, or anything. That's not their intention. Their intention is to tell a story. Their intention is just to tell a story. They're filmmakers. They're actors. They're producers. That's all. It seems like you're putting the blame on them and not the person who held the guns. Not, you know, it's not the guns. It's not whatever the hell he was wearing. It's not the movie. It's not the movie makers. It's people. Sick, twisted people. If you want to speak out about the event, that is absolutely fine. But the way you said it made it very concerning to me that you were blaming the people who made The Dark Knight Rises or The Dark Knight. You were essentially, it sounded like you were saying that they made it so people glorify the Joker as a good person and will do what he does, and it's their fault for encouraging it, even if it's indirect. That's what it made it sound like. I'm sorry if it made it sound like you should shut up. No. What I'm saying is, and I don't know if I don't know if you blame them, or if, you know, but the way you worded it sounded like you were blaming the people who worked on, who essentially own the Joker, who created the Joker, or who made, I don't know, Heath Ledger's Joker, who wrote him, like, you know, David Goyer, or Christopher Nolan, or the director of Joker, or Joaquin Phoenix, or whatever. Okay, so, I found, a Twitter user by the name of Sandy Phillips. I'm not sure if this will actually hear me or not. If it does, awesome. I don't have to record a piece of audio. But if that is not the case, then never mind then. So, all right. So this is something I wanted to show off. No, not this. That's Warner Brothers' response. That's their official response on the situation. Here is her response. She is a person who lost her daughter in the Aurora Theater shooting. Now, I'm not going to say this applies to everyone who survived the Aurora Theater shooting. Clearly, she speaks for herself, but she was actually featured, her words were featured prominently in interviews, and I believe other people who know her spoke up. So, clearly, I'm pretty sure she's the one who was very vocal about the Joker movie, for better or for worse. And this was her response: not good enough, Warner Brothers. I guess I'll show some of the other tweets. Not good enough, get a grip. Yeah, I agree with that one. I'm all for sensibility around guns and violence, but who kicked up a fuss when guns were used in much violent, you spelled violence wrong, naturally depicted in Suicide Squad? Yeah, yes, very, very good point. I mean, yes, Suicide Squad, awful movie, but yeah, it had a lot of violent shit in it. Where were you when this happened? Hell, what about Batman v Superman? Like, I know the Joker wasn't in that movie either, but that movie was pretty fucking dark. I'd argue darker than Suicide Squad, especially with Batman, like, shooting up a bunch of people, and he was treated as a hero, by the way. So, like, where were you during all this shit? It's understandable. Alright, Steve York, that's your name, or about York. I really have to respect how you actually, not only do you bring up good points, but I really have to respect how, this comment right here: it's understandable after a tragedy and loss to fight against a related thing. But movies have had gun, fight, and explosion scenes for decades. How many film explosions are attributed to terrorism? We all want to enjoy films of extremes. Yes. Absolutely. Steve York, you're a fucking hero, alright? Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, after reading that, this is like a slight... I'm not sure if I'm going to make this its own separate video, or if it'll be a part of the first video. And this is sort of a message to Sarah Phillips, I believe her name is, if I can find the interview. Damn it, the phone. Sandy Phillips. Alright, Sandy Phillips. Once again, I'm going to say it again. Please do not attack her in any way. I disagree with what she's saying heavily and what she's doing, but I can ultimately understand why she's doing it. You have to remember, this is a mother who lost her daughter, and while I do believe she does deserve to be criticized, she does not deserve to be harassed or mocked or treated like an asshole or anything. Alright? Is what I'm essentially saying. But I will say this, Sandy, what do you expect to gain from this? Like, I hate to be that questionable asshole, but, like, what do you want Warner Brothers to do? Like, I know you sent a letter addressing your concerns. Alright, that's fine. Warner Brothers addressed your concerns, and you brush it off as if you're saying, not good enough, Warner Brothers. Like, what do you want? What do you want from them? Are we just not allowed to have a Joker movie? Are we just not, because of the Aurora Theater shooting and because the guy announced himself as the Joker, even though he's clearly not? That's not Warner Brothers' fault. Are you saying it is? Like, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to just not have the movie be in theaters? Do you just want the film to be canceled? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to go into the film and edit it and dumb it down and ruin the vision of what the director and what the actor and what the producers and what the writers had envisioned for it? What do you want them to do with this movie? What do you want from Warner Brothers? What do you want Warner Brothers to do about this? Because this film is releasing in, like, less than a month. It's coming out in, like, I think a week. You find it problematic. You addressed your concerns. They addressed your letter and said, listen, we understand your concerns, but we're not making this movie to promote violence. The movie is not trying to promote anything of the sort. And you just go ahead and said, not good enough. What is good enough to you? I genuinely want to know. What is good enough to you? Because not only do you seem to be missing the entire point of the film, where it's not painting Joker as a good guy. Yeah, is it a tragedy in some way? Yes, but it's also a psychological thriller. At least that's what it's listed on Wikipedia, I believe, anyway. But Joker is not painted as a good person. He's painted as someone who is not right in the head, as not mentally... He's mentally ill. Like, he needs help, but he never got the help he needed. Life beat him down. Is he tragic? Yes. Can he be somewhat sympathetic, maybe even relatable in some way? Possibly. But he's not so relatable to the point where, oh yeah, I can totally relate to this person. I can totally see myself becoming him. No. No, that's not the point of the film. It's an origin story for a supervillain on how he became the person he is, and how horrible and tragic it is that he went down this road and that he wasn't able to get help, so he wouldn't become the Joker. This isn't supposed to be a happy story. It's not going to have a happily ever after. I don't know what you were expecting. I'm the C-Man 235, signing out.